So hello and welcome to an adventure that I had this week. I went to Tahquamenon Falls. Now, you might not have known how to pronounce it when you saw it, but I did find out on the sign. I've always known how to pronounce the state park's name, but I never realized before that Tahquamenon rhymes with phenomenon. So there you go. There's your one little fun fact. Tahquamenon State Falls, or Tahquamenon Falls State Park, is a 50,000 acre state park that stretches over 13 miles in the eastern Upper Peninsula of Michigan. It's gorgeous. The reason for the state park's existence obviously is Tahquamenon Falls. It is the second largest waterfall east of the Mississippi. So the only waterfall that is bigger than this waterfall is Niagara. The biggest advantage to Tahquamenon Falls is there's a lot less people there. Even the day that we visited, though it felt crowded to me, that was crowded by Upper Peninsula standards, which is not really crowded at all when you consider a lot of other state and national parks. So, fun facts about the Tahquamenon Falls. It is almost 200 feet across the upper fall, and it has a 50-foot drop. And at peak flow, it has almost 50,000 gallons of water per second going over the edge. Average is actually less than that. Average, probably when we were here, it was probably about 7,000 to 10,000. I also, along with the music back there, I did turn down the volume because, as you can imagine, that much water flowing over and dropping into the pool below is loud. I did leave a little bit on there that was just full volume, just to kind of give you a little experience of it. It is a beautiful waterfall. It also, the entire state park, you can see supposedly bear, and you can fish in the river. A lot of people ask, why is the river brown? It's tannic acid from the cedars and the hemlocks and the spruces that are growing all over, which give the whole state park almost a prehistoric feel at times. It's absolutely beautiful. And yeah, you can fish. We were passed by a lot of people who were fishing. And the reason I keep referencing the Upper Falls is because there's the Upper Falls, which is the bigger, more famous one. But there's also a lower fall, which is actually a series of 5 waterfalls that surround an island. Very cool. This area was also made famous in Longfellow's poem Hiawatha, and the name supposedly refers to the color. It was also a very big river for the logging industry, and they would float the logs downstream, but they actually had to do a little bit of dynamiting just to get the river deep enough to actually float the logs. And you know, I sat there for the longest time staring out at the waterfall, and all I could think was, could you imagine if you were canoeing down this river? And you didn't know what was coming. You could hear a waterfall, but you didn't know it was anything as big as that. It's really mesmerizing to stand and watch the water. The Upper Falls especially, they don't let people get too close. They have a couple of observation decks where you can go out and just get some good pictures. but they really try to keep you a little bit safe right there. The lower falls, you can actually go wade and swim and play in. In fact, there were so many people doing that when we were there. A lot of people also ask, why is the water so foamy? Evidently it is that foamy because it has an extremely low pH. It's a very soft water, and that makes it foam, which I thought was kind of cool as well. So I think here in just a second, I'm going to let this go to full volume so that you can experience what we all heard. I don't think that this is a waterfall. One thing that you do have to watch out for is so many stairs. You don't have to be in good shape to do Tahquamenon Falls, but it doesn't hurt. It's been 2 days since we were there, and my calf muscles are still singing me all of the songs of their people, and they're not happy songs. I did find out, though, that they have, I'm not sure if they would work really well on stairs, but they do have kind of off-road wheelchairs for people who have mobility issues so that they can still see the waterfalls. So it's a first come, first serve service of the park, but it is free. So don't let mobility issues completely stop you. They also have boat rentals down at the lower falls. You can rent rowboats and just go along. But yeah, I took a lot of video of the stairs because they were everywhere, and there were a lot of them. Thankfully, they have a lot of landings periodically where you can just kind of chill and enjoy the fact that for a few minutes you can catch your breath. The worst part about all these stairs is not going down. It's coming back up. But the views are worth it. And it seems sort of ironic to have to walk down stairs to go see a waterfall. But the fall, much like the Colorado River, has sort of carved a very nice gorge out. In fact, it reminded me so much of Sholazar Basin that this is why I put, if you're a World of Warcraft player, you're recognizing the music for Sholazar Basin, because that's kind of what this all reminded me of, was that area of World of Warcraft. You know, what can I say? Gotta get my video game references in. I do remember when I was a small child coming out here, and the stairs back then weren't nearly this good. They were kind of just logs bashed into the sides of the hill, so this is actually way better. So some interesting fun facts about Tahquamenon Falls State Park is it's actually open year-round. And from what I understand, snowshoeing through the park in the winter is absolutely amazing, and you probably have a better chance of seeing more wildlife with less tourists. It's kind of on my bucket list and kind of not, because the drive out to Tahquamenon Falls could be a very interesting, we'll go with it, could be a very interesting drive. But if you did come up in the winter, the falls are still flowing. I don't know that they've ever frozen over. Most of the winter pictures that I've seen of Tahquamenon, you see the water still flowing. It's also supposedly known to the locals as Root Beer Falls because of the color of the water and all of the foam. I thought that was kind of a cute thought. Root Beer Falls. Now, we're going to be leaving the Upper Falls here in a minute and heading down towards the Lower Falls, which, like I said, is a lot more like a gorgeous playground than the Upper Falls. There were people all over and they were having so much fun. Not that I blame them. I didn't bring myself water shoes and I didn't want to get wet. I kind of regret that now. But we still had a lovely day. I guess there's also a couple of very good breweries, but they do make sure to put the fact that this is not the safest place to go swimming. They allow you to swim in the Lower Falls, but it's sort of a swim at your own risk type thing. And, you know, when you see that volume of water, you definitely can understand why. Right there it says, if the Tahquamenon could talk, it could tell you about the Indians, trappers, and modern-day tourists who have died in these waters. Don't be fooled by its beauty. It can kill you. Which was enough to keep me out of the water. So we took a beautiful path down to the Lower Falls, and even if you aren't there for the waterfalls, there are miles and miles of absolutely gorgeous hiking trails. Definitely don't expect your cell phone to help you because cell phone service is almost non-existent. You can get a signal at the visitor centers and at the big restrooms, but once you get closer to the water, your cell phone signal is not there. But if you're prepared for a rough hike, you could have a really fun day. There's also a couple of campgrounds. There is one campground, I think, for the Upper Fall, and I know that there's a campground at the Lower Falls that you can stay at. And you can also see this absolutely adorable little bear statue. All in all, if you're ever in Michigan's Upper Peninsula, this is really worth a trip. And you might not be able to take a motorboat out and get hit by the spray like you can, I guess, at Niagara Falls. But this will only cost you the entry to a state park, which is fairly reasonable. Look it up and find out exactly how much the park pass is this year. I know it's extremely cheap for the value that you get. I think it's less than $20 for a day pass to any of Michigan state parks. So not too expensive. Now the interesting part was all of the little fact boards that are all over. Like, I never realized that the Upper Falls is the younger of the two waterfalls. So that was kind of cool. And the sandstone that is down there is older than the dinosaurs. But then again, it's rocks, so that's not too surprising. Like I said, the lower falls is a lot more of a playground. I was trying really hard not to get unwilling participants in this video, but I caught a few of them nonetheless. But I tried really hard not to get anyone in the video that didn't want to be there, and just get the absolutely beautiful nature. I enjoy kayaking, but I'm still not sure I would have the guts to hit any of these rapids in a kayak. Now, this is the bridge that you can go across to get a little bit closer to the lower falls, and by closer, I mean right in the water. You can cross this nice little bridge and head out onto the walking paths that go around the island, and that is where the other four, amazingly enough, 4 more waterfalls actually are. And like I said, I was trying not to get too many other humans in my video, which kind of limited the footage that I could get of the lower falls, because there were people all over and they were swimming and having a wonderful time. If you ever wanted to live out your ninja training dreams by sitting under a waterfall, this is one place you could totally do it. So before we finish up our grand adventure, I'm going to leave you guys with a beautiful poem that I've seen posted in almost every single Michigan State Park that I've ever been to. And it's got an anonymous author, but it kind of encompasses my feeling about all of Michigan State Parks and the beautiful woods that I live in. The Prayer of the Woods. I am the heat of your hearth on the cold winter nights, the friendly shade screening you from the summer sun, and my fruits are refreshing draughts quenching your thirst as you journey on. I am the beam that holds your house, the board of your table, the bed on which you lie, and the timber that builds your boat. I am the handle of your hoe, the door of your homestead, the wood of your cradle, and the shell of your coffin. I am the bread of kindness and the flower of beauty. Ye who pass by, listen to my prayer. Harm me not.